And prepaid expense.
Sorry?
Outstanding and prepaid.
Okay. We will take this also, and we will the other thing also I wanted to tell you. Outstanding expense and prepaid expense. What is the difference between the two?
Like we have to pay it. We have gotten the service or the asset, but or the goods, but we still have to pay for the goods. But
But if
prepaying them
you
is
have to
like
pay for the goods, it would be trade payables, na, Achman?
for uncreditness.
So if you buy the goods on credit, it is trade payables.
Okay, no, sorry, no. Okay. But like for example, you have gotten the service, but we have to pay for it.
Okay, you have already taken the service and you have to pay for it. So it is called
Yes.
outstanding expense. Jonathan,
Yes.
outstanding expense is an asset or a liability for you?
Outstanding expenses and asset.
Asset for you. I took almost
Yeah,
4 days to explain what is asset. You were the one who was present right from the beginning. Where is outstanding income,
yes.
expense and asset? Jonathan, look at the screen. Is outstanding expense an asset?
No.
No. Okay. What is outstanding expense? Outstanding expense means money yet to be paid. What does it mean? Money or amounts yet to be paid. Right? So
Yes,
anything that
yes.
you still have to pay, what are they called?
Outstanding expense.
Liabilities, outstanding
Liability.
expense, anything. And liabilities have what balance?
Credit balance.
Liabilities have credit balance. Very good, Achman. Now, when I talk about prepaid expense,
It's the opposite.
what is the meaning,
Like
Jonathan, of prepaid expense?
Amount paid in advance and service is yet to be received.
So, prepaid expense means service yet to be received. If
so miss, for
anything is
example,
yet to be
we
received, so
have
it
paid
is
for the
what?
rent in
Yeah.
advance.
Yes, prepaid rent, prepaid salary,
Even
prepaid
insurance.
commission. Yes, very well. So these are what your
Assets.
and assets have what balance?
Debit.
Debit.
Debit balance. Okay, very well. So you all said expense can be classified into outstanding expense or prepaid expense. Can I give another name for outstanding expense?
Other receivables. Other payables.
Accrued expense. What other receivable?
Okay, no. I got confused. Accrued expense.
Other name for outstanding is what?
Accrued.
Accrued expense. Okay. So expense are classified into?
Two types.
Hmm.
Prepaid expense and outstanding expense or accrued expense.
Okay, very good. Outstanding expense is what for you?
It's a
Liability.
liability for us.
Liabilities have what balance?
Credit balance.
Credit balance.
Okay. Prepaid expenses are what for us?
Assets.
Asset.
Okay. Assets have what balance?
Debit balance.
Debit.
Very good. Now another part, expense can also be classified into other two parts. What are the two other parts? Expense can also be classified into two parts. What is the other two parts? Can I say it is a capital expenditure or revenue expenditure? Do you all remember?
Yes, miss.
Jonathan, do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember? Yeah, you are not here to impress me, okay? If you don't remember, you need to speak up. Expenditure is also classified into two parts, capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. What do you all remember? Tell me.
Capital expenditure are expenses which happened day to day.
Day to day.
Yes.
Jonathan, what do you remember? Tell me.
Their day-to-day expenses.
They are day to day expenses. Look over here. Revenue expenditure are day to day expenses. Which expenses is day to day expenses? Revenue
Revenue.
expenditure is day to day expenses. Number one. Second, it is incurred more than once a year. That means you can do it daily, regularly, in the morning, in the night, again and again,
Yes.
again and again, again and again. If you don't remember which expenses, day to day expenses, think from revenue point of view. Revenue means sales,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Sales you do regularly. So revenue
Yes.
expenditure is done regularly,
Okay.
day to day expense.
But miss, for example, let's say insurance for the capital. It
Yeah.
is capital expenditure, right?
But you do it every year.
Yes.
Okay. So that means it is recurring, it is repeated, it is recurring.
Yes. So it is also revenue expenditure.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anything that you do again and again, not necessary again and again in 1 year only.
Because that's the example which like messed up things for me.
Okay. If you do it
Yeah.
again and again, recurring basis, every year you do it. In a year, you do it more than once. Okay. It happens more than once a year. It is called which expenditure?
Revenue.
Revenue expenditure. It includes, just read this example, maintenance costs, purchase, rent, electricity, salary, wages, traveling charges, labor charges, transportation charges, sundry expenses. Jonathan, I can't see you. Telephone, postage, advertisement, water bill, insurance, audit fee. These are all examples of which expenditure?
Revenue.
Revenue expenditure. So, what is revenue expenditure?
Expenses which occur daily or are recurring.
Recurring more
Day,
than once, day to day.
day to day.
Can you tell me what is revenue expenditure?
Expenses which reoccur, they happen day to day.
Recurring more than once
More than once and day to day.
and day to day. Can you repeat what is revenue expenditure?
They are recurring, they
Recurring
happen more
more than
than once and they
day-to-day.
happen day to day.
Okay, recurring more than once, day to day. Can you all tell me what balance will revenue expenditure have, debit or credit? We just did the golden rule. Now, what is the golden rule?
Debit.
What is the golden rule?
We debit all expenses and losses, but we credit all incomes and gains.
Okay, what is this word?
Expense.
Revenue expense. So, what balance will revenue expense have?
Debit.
Jonathan, what balance will revenue expenditure have?
Debit.
Okay. Where will revenue expenditure be shown? Tell me. Will you show it in the balance sheet or the statement of financial position? Or you will show it in the income statement?
Miss income statement.
Why?
Because like these are expenses.
So,
So like these expenses happen so that we can get income.
Okay, very well. So revenue expenses is shown in the
Income statement.
income statement. Okay. Come on, tell me what is revenue expenditure?
They happen day to day, they are recurring, and they happen more than once.
Recurring more than once day to day. Again, tell me.
Recurring more than
Recurring
once
more
day to
than
day.
day to day.
Again.
Recurring more
Recurring
than once day to day.
Okay. Where is it shown?
Income statement.
Income statement. What balance do they have?
Debit.
Debit balance. Okay. What do you mean by a capital expenditure?
They are non-recurring expenses, and they don't happen daily.
Sorry?
They are non-recurring,
They are non-recurring expenses. What else?
and they don't happen daily.
Okay. They are non-recurring expenses.
Yeah,
Okay. They do not happen daily.
yeah. The opposite of revenue expenditure.
Okay. They do not happen daily. What are examples of capital expenditure?
It can be a car, machinery,
Mostly when you
not
purchase a non-current
current
asset, I
asset.
am telling you, mostly when you purchase a non-current asset, the expenditure is capital expenditure. Okay?
Plus, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is goodwill?
Goodwill is, suppose you have a business. Okay, if you see over here in Dubai, there is this Kalyan jewelry.
Yes.
Okay, they keep photographs of actress wearing their jewelry.
Okay.
Okay, so they have to pay the actress something.
Yeah.
So when they pay the actress something for using a photograph next to the shop, okay, that means for the actress that amount is goodwill. She receives that amount because of her name and fame. Okay. Today, if you want to start your own business, like if you want to start McDonald's, so you would have to pay McDonald's to use their logo.
Basically, royalty fees.
Yeah, could say. So what is capital expenditure? Tell me.
They are not recurring expenses. They don't
Non-recurring
happen daily.
expenditure do
And
not
by
happen daily.
non-current assets.
purchase.
It is mostly related to no purchase of a non-current asset. What is the balance of capital expenditure? Debit or credit?
Also debit.
Jonathan, what is the balance of non-current capital expenditure?
Credit.
Jonathan, what is the golden rule?
Debit all expenses and losses. Credit all incomes and gains.
What is this, Jonathan?
Expense.
So what will be the balance of capital expenditure?
Debit.
Debit. Okay. What is the balance of capital expenditure? Debit. So debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay. Tell me where will this appear? Where will capital expenditure appear? Income statement or statement of financial position? Can you all hear me? Where
Yes.
will capital expenditure appear? Income statement or statement of financial position? Can you read out the examples of capital expenditure?
Yes, miss. Current assets. So, statement of financial
Statement of
position.
financial position.
Yes, very good. So they will not appear in the income statement, they will appear in statement of financial position. Okay, now take 2 minutes time and write in your notebook the distinguish between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure.
And miss, yesterday you sent me a link, right?
Hmm.
Can you send the PPT for that?
Yes. Once you have written, please let me know. This is a distinguish between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. One thing please remember, when I'm talking about expenditure, my golden rule is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. But this golden rule you cannot apply for outstanding and prepaid. Okay? Prepaid expenses have debit balance, outstanding expenses have credit balance because the nature is different.
Yes.
Jonathan, you said you've sent your work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I check? But this is only the asset section, Jonathan. Where is the liability section? Jonathan, what you sent to me is only half of the balance sheet. From year to year, where is the other half?
Ma'am, I didn't do it.
Why? Since 3 days, I'm asking you every day. You think I have a lot of time that whenever I go on Teams, I will say, Jonathan.
Ma'am, could you show that that slide again?
I have given you video also of the same, Jonathan. If this is done, can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss, I'm writing the revenue expenditure. Then
Okay.